Being accountable is not an attack. If people really care about you and they love you and they say they want to be a part of your life, then that means they're willing to work on themselves and be patient with you. Welcome and welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Guidance, and let's talk about it. Being accountable means you're willing to learn from your past and learn from the choices that you made that you maybe weren't proud of or were not positive, did not affect you, did not benefit you, or maybe you just need to move forward from, including myself because I'm not excluding. But when you know you did something wrong, the best thing to do is to own up to it. And the next video we're going to be talking about is why the truth is the easiest thing to do. If you make a mistake, people have so much more respect for you when you own up to it. It's when you don't own up to it and you act like what you did was nothing wrong and you just try to make other people feel bad. That's not okay. If I, your favorite mental health specialist, did not care about the people who were watching my videos and who are inspired and motivated from it, I would just mislead and say any and everything. But that's not it. I would not be speaking in the tone that I am. The reason why sometimes I need to turn it up is because that's how it needs to be said. A lot of people love to say they're the realest person in the room until it's time to speak on the truth, until it's time to speak on the skeletons. I'm not afraid of anybody. And that's the thing. When you're not afraid of anybody, you could say exactly what you want, how you mean it. You don't have to watch what you say just to make other people feel comfortable. Because if they were truthful, if they were honest, it's not an issue. Now, just because you don't choose to express yourself in the same tone or in the same manner doesn't make it wrong. It just means it may not be for you or something you're not used to. But because it's 2025, being accountable is not an attack. If people are mad at me because I am telling the truth, you don't need to be around me. And personally, I don't want to be around you. If somebody says they care about you, they have to show you. This doesn't mean that people are not going to make choices, but I don't believe in second chances or rekindling relationships with people when I didn't go out my way to hurt and harm them intentionally. Because it's like people know what they do. I've had family, so-called friends, so-called situationships, men or whatever relationships, thinking that these people cared about me. They didn't. But that's because they didn't care about themselves. And you have to realize that how people treat you is a reflection of themselves. Nobody is going to intentionally be mean to you or hurt you if that's not in their spirit. A lot of people be like, oh, people treat you because how they feel about you. You cannot be mean to somebody if you're not a mean person. It has to be in you. Stop enabling. Stop trying to be so understanding that you allow manipulation, that you allow abuse. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't retaliate and you match energy, because we already talked about it. I made a video on why you shouldn't treat people how you shouldn't, treat people how they treat you. But it's just like people know. It's disrespectful to you. It's disrespectful to themselves. Nobody should constantly do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and not realize how it's affecting you. And this goes both ways. I've had people sit here and act as if they did nothing wrong, but because I was mature and I would go to them and I would apologize and they were trying to talk about what I did. It goes both ways. You can't react and respond to no reason, because that's another thing. When people are mature, when people do hold you accountable, it's mutual. It's both ways. So if I came to you and I apologized to you, that means you have to be able to listen and understand, and vice versa, even if you don't automatically agree. People that hold you accountable have a level of maturity, and everybody in the world is not going to be mature. So everybody in the world is not going to resonate. I don't know why I can't speak. Resonate with my videos. I'm not asking you to. Nobody's telling you to watch these videos or to engage or to be here. But it's not fair to the people who intentionally move a certain type of way, and I'm one of those people. I know what I've done, and not just that, God, ancestors, the universe, whatever you want to believe in, knows what you've done too. Nobody's gonna leave this earth without knowing what they did. That's why a lot of people walk around guilty. I have people who don't speak to me because of what they did, not because of what I've did. Any person that I've did something and it wasn't mature, wasn't appropriate, I've apologized to, even when they've done me dirty. Why? Because that was never my intention. Have I had people do things to me? Yes. Have I felt some type of way about it? Yes. Was I wrong for how I could have handled the situation? as I grow and mature, yes, because that's not okay. Just because somebody hurts you doesn't mean that you have to hurt them back. That's what a lot of people fail to realize. And because I've never been that type of person, because I will never hold a grudge, I've apologized. I've apologized to people who talked about me to their family members. I've apologized to certain people in my family members who've done certain things to me and forgave them, not because of them, but because of myself. Being held accountable is not an attack. Like, if you get mad and people that say that they're your friends or love you and support you can't have uncomfortable conversations, why are you in a relationship? Why are you in a relationship? Are those really your friends? Like, if you want to be shallow, if you want to not worry about those things, like I said, you don't have to. But for those of you who choose to be here because it's a choice, you have to be intentional about the company you keep. You have to be intentional about what you choose to do, because as you get older, it's going to affect you. And the only person who's going to feel some type of way is you. Like, the people who wronged you, they're going to live peacefully. They're going to continue to live their life. If they didn't care about what they did then and they never apologized and changed their behavior, they're not going to care. And the only person who's going to be stuck or feel alone and hurt is you. I'm speaking from experience. I've been through a lot. Just because I don't talk about certain things doesn't mean I haven't gone through it. And because I've gone through so many things from experience, from wisdom, with the experience that I have, I'm able to speak on it. Like I said, I'm not afraid of anybody. I know what I've done. And when you know, for the most part, you've been an honest and a good, decent person, it will show. You don't have nothing to prove to anybody when you learn to tell the truth and when you learn to hold yourself and everyone else accountable. Are my standards high? Yes, because I can afford them. I can create them. I'm not listening to people who don't meet the same standards as me try to tell me about myself. And speaking from experience, all the people who try to go up against you or just try to disrespect you, they don't know you. Not a single person who came into my life and thought they were going to do their big one knew me, and they're not around me now. If you don't like what I'm saying, if you feel triggered, if you feel offended, maybe you should think about what you did. Maybe you should figure out what you said, because it's guilt. That's like when people say things to me. If I know I did something, I'm going to speak on it. Like, for example, I've only had less than 5 real genuine connections in my life. And I'm 27, turning 28. Only had 5 genuine people I could say that were good. And at the time, I was not mature and I was not ready to be in relationships with them. Rather, they were my coworkers, rather it was like a significant other, or rather it was a friend. I have no problem saying that. If I was such a bad person, why would I come on here and say the things that I'm saying? I don't have nothing to hide. And from those situations, from being not having the wisdom, not having the experience, or with a lot of things attached to it, I didn't know. And those people I've apologized to, they forgave me, I forgave them, I moved forward. But it's only 5 people. Everybody else, they had intentions to do what they wanted to do, and it didn't work out, and it was exposed. It was exposed on their end and my end. I've only had one genuine boyfriend in high school. He knows who he is. If I wanted to, I could say his first, middle, and his last name. That made me feel some type of way. I've only had one female friend, genuine. Everybody else, I'm not going to discredit them and say that they weren't my friends, but that was the only connection where it wasn't them talking about me or it didn't end bad. Like, a lot of people who I thought were my friends, some of them were based off of seasons because I moved and I traveled a lot throughout my life. So they were circumstances. So it was no beef or anything. But a lot of the times, the people that I thought were my friends or people that I was getting to know talked about me. They talked about me to their family members. They talked about their friends. Like, they were never for me. And it's just like, relationships go both ways. Even with people in your family members, like, if you do something wrong, like I said, if people want to be in a relationship, you both have to be able to have a level of understanding. If you try to ghost to somebody and you try to apologize and all they do is try to put the blame on you, but they don't talk about what they did, that person's not for you. But it's just like, as your fifth mental health specialist and as someone who just respects herself a lot, because that's what people fail to realize, I'm going to hold everybody accountable. If you don't want to be accountable, you are not going to be in my life. And for those of you who support me, you're supporting yourself. Have the same standard. And especially regardless of your race, your gender, your ethnicity, when you set the tone, when you raise the standard, everybody else has to move accordingly. If not, they'll be removed. People can't pretend about how they feel towards you. So what? People they don't know you. Nobody who's gossiping, nobody who's trying to bring you down, nobody who doesn't have standards, they don't know you. They don't. Because if they did, they would realize she has standards because of X, Y, and Z, and this and this and that. And once again, you don't have to hold it against somebody. I'm not saying that you just shame people or you punish them and you lock them away. But I do believe in punishment. You could discipline somebody. Like, that's like when people go to jail. Somebody may not have to go to jail for the rest of their life, but if they go to jail for 20 to 30, 40 years, I bet you they will realize what they did and give them a chance. But that's not up to us. That's up to God, ancestors in the universe, if you understand on a psychological level, and the judge. But look at it the same way. If somebody wants to be in your life, you have to show them what's okay and what's not. And it's mutual. So if you have questions, comments, and concerns, and you're ready to be held accountable, make sure you like this video. Comment down below. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. I will be going live on Instagram and on TikTok talking about being accountable. And when you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, you can post your questions and concerns through my DM or on my story, on my poll, or here on the community section on my YouTube account. Interested in this service, head to my website at TyGuidance.com. The energy is going to be more relaxed, more intimate, more one-on-one. And follow me on all social media platforms until we're able to go live. But being accountable is not an attack. Anybody who gets mad at you for putting yourself first is not for you. It's not selfish to be selfless, okay? Love you, bye.